What's up, Star Wars fans? My name is Prince, and I am an urban acolyte. And this morning I woke up to a very cool article posted on ScreenRant.com. It is Star Wars 15 Reasons Finn is the Last Jedi, and this is by Britt Poteet. There are 15 reasons here. I'm going to briefly touch on all of them. I'm going to be honest, I started recording this and the recording was going for 30 minutes and I still was only, I wasn't even all the way through the list. So I'm going to give these reasons and then I'm probably going to say 2 or 3 things and move on to keep this from getting too long. Before I jump into the list, I want to remind you guys of the sale on the Black Series Force Effects lightsabers over on Amazon. So you can get both the Luke Skywalker Return of the Jedi green lightsaber and the Darth Vader red bladed lightsaber, both of those for roughly the cost of one. Those Force Effects lightsabers usually go anywhere from between $200 and $230. If you have Amazon Prime and you get 2-day free shipping, you can get both of them for $224. So make sure to check the description of this video for my link over to Amazon to check out those lightsabers and get you one to add to your collection. But anyway, let's jump into the 15 reasons why Finn is the Last Jedi. So reason 15 is that Finn was able to hold his own against Kylo Ren without training. Now we know that Finn did have melee weapons training. You can read all about it in the Before the Awakening novel, which gives you a lot of background on Finn, or you can read it in Finn's story, which is kind of a YA novel which tells the Force Awakens from Finn's point of view. But I mean, it is a wonder that Finn managed to survive fighting Kylo Ren. Yes, he got put into a coma. He had his back sliced open, but you got to think about the fact that Kylo Ren killed all of the members of this the previous Jedi Order. He's called the Jedi Killer, and this guy who had no lightsaber training at this point doesn't. If he is Force sensitive, he doesn't know how to use the Force. But he managed to survive where Luke's other students could not survive. And if Finn is Force sensitive and he's ever meets Luke and tells him about that whole ordeal, I think that would maybe make Finn look pretty good in Luke's eyes. The fact that he survived an encounter with the Jedi Killer and walked away to tell people about it and to become stronger. And also remember that Finn did injure Kylo Ren. Okay, next reason, Rey could turn to the dark side. Now, Britt says that if Rey turns out to be a Skywalker, there's always that thing with the Skywalkers. They're all tempted by the dark side. We saw Leia sense the dark side in the Aftermath novel. I think it was the second or the third novel. I can't remember off the top of my head exactly. I think it was the second novel when she was meditating and she's pregnant and she senses the dark side. Luke, when he goes into the cave on Dagobah, is tempted by the dark side. He's continuously tempted by the dark side up until the point that he throws down his lightsaber and says, my father is either going to turn and save me, or I'm going to die because I'm a Jedi just like my father before me. Kylo Ren, we don't know the details of how he turned. We believe that Snoke is involved, and so if Rey is also a member of the Skywalker clan, there's the chance that she could flip, and that would leave Finn the only other Force sensitive person. We're not focusing on Poe in this video, so before somebody comments, well, there's always Poe, this is just about Finn, so we're just gonna talk about Finn. We start introducing too many things, it makes the video longer. But that would leave Finn to have to be trained by Luke to take on the First Order and Rey and possibly Kylo Ren if he doesn't turn or isn't killed in the process of Rey turning to defeat the First Order. Reason 13, Finn wielded a lightsaber. Now, when I did my 5 reasons that Finn will become a Jedi, at that time, I had just finished reading a novel called Weapon of a Jedi, about Luke Skywalker, and it's the events between A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back. And the line that's said by Sarko Plank, who actually appears in The Force Awakens. He may have been in a deleted scene, but he was there on Jakku scavenging while Rey was there. He calls the lightsaber a weapon of a Jedi. It's the weapon of a Jedi. It's useless in the hands of someone who is not a Jedi. But since that time, Pablo Hidalgo has corrected us and said anyone can use a lightsaber that has melee weapons training, but they can't do the things that a Jedi could do, like deflect blaster bolts or, use their telekinesis to throw the lightsaber and make it come back to them, things like that. But, like I said, it goes back to the first reason, the fact that Finn was able to hold his own against Kylo Ren, that Maz Kanata gave Finn the lightsaber when he asked for a blaster. Of course, Finn had turned over the blaster Han Solo gave him to the First Order in the basement. In Maz's castle. That's a deleted scene if you haven't seen it. But, and then I have the video, why were Finn's lightsaber scenes cut? He was supposed to use that lightsaber a lot in The Force Awakens in an earlier cut of the film. Next reason, Finn and Rey are drawn to each other, and she's clearly Force sensitive. So this is teasing a possible romance or at least a platonic relationship between Finn and Rey. And there is the whole thing. You have to think about the fact that Finn is the catalyst for things that happen to Rey. Finn is the catalyst for the events in The Force Awakens, and that's going to touch on, I think, reason number one. So I don't want to say too much about that, but just think about the fact that everything that Rey is able to do, the whole, without Finn, Rey couldn't be a Mary Sue. If you think Rey is a Mary Sue, Rey couldn't show off any of her talents without Finn being there to push her forward. Reason number 11 builds on the previous reason. Rey rejected the idea of being a Jedi multiple times. Like I said, Finn is pushing her forward. Finn's actions are what push Rey to finally reach out and take the lightsaber and fight Kylo Ren and eventually make it to Ahch-To to see Luke. Now, I think even when Kylo Ren forces her hand, when he's probing her mind and she's able to use that same mind link to get inside Kylo Ren's head, and that's how she learned how to use the Jedi mind trick, is she pulled it out of Kylo Ren when she got inside his head and learned about Darth Vader and his fears and everything else. Even then, I don't think that she was accepting of who she is and what she can do. Finn does reject his call to adventure, as does Rey. This is part of the hero's journey, but Rey continuously rejects because she wants to go back to Jakku. She's waiting on her people, and what happens is that relationship that's building with Finn and Rey, Finn is the one who comes back. Rey is this person always waiting on someone to come and get her. Right? She's always, she's reactive and not proactive. And Finn is the one who comes back for her. And that's what makes her finally become proactive, right? Finn gets chopped down by Kylo Ren. He's laying there, back sliced open, in a coma, in the snow, waiting for death, or at death's door. And then Rey finally accepts, I have this power. I'm going to open myself up to the Force, and I'm going to fight, and I'm going to go find Luke Skywalker. Next reason, Finn has a sense for good and justice. For Finn, he's intrinsically good. Even when Finn is BSing, right? He frees Poe and he says it's the right thing to do. You need a pilot. Yeah, I need a pilot, dude. He tells Rey, I'm with the Resistance. I'm on a mission to that droid has got a map to Luke Skywalker's location. I'm on a mission to, right? It's like, even though he's lying and he's trying to get the HE double hockey sticks out of Dodge and get away from the First Order, he's still doing the right things. Even his lies are like progressing the story in the right direction. And is it the Force guiding him that way? Is he just wandering, but the Force is leading him in the right direction? That's something that we'll have to wonder about. Next reason, Finn is simply too lucky. The Force must be on his side. Now, you think about, like I said, Finn is the catalyst for everything that happens, and it's almost like I'm trying to think of these kind of characters you have where I don't want to call Finn the fool, but he kind of is the fool in The Force Awakens, and that doesn't mean like the comedic routine, the comedy relief, or a Jar Jar Binks character or something, because Jar Jar Binks would have died without Qui-Gon around, and Finn is capable of taking care of himself. But it's like he has no idea what's going on. He really doesn't. But and he's just kind of stumbling into the right thing. It's like drunken boxing. Like, you look at Jackie Chan's drunken boxing movies, or Beggar Sue. If you're really into Chinese kung fu, I can't think of the name of the movie with Beggar Sue. It's not a Jackie Chan movie though. It's fairly recent, and it's a younger guy. Anyway, like drunken boxing, the drunken boxer looks like they don't know where they're going, but they've got tremendous power. And at the end of the day, even though they're being kind of guided by the moment, they emerge victorious. And that's kind of how Finn is. And, there is it luck or is it the Force? That's something. Well, it's always the Force. It's always whether he's Force sensitive or not, it's always the Force. But is it that things always work out for him in the end because of the Force, or does he have kind of the smuggler's luck like Han Solo has? And sometimes Han Solo's smuggler's luck is the Force, because when Han is in the moment, when he's flying the Falcon, and he does these things that have impossible odds, that is Han Solo tapping into the Force, because anyone is capable of tapping into the Force. Tapping into the Force just means being in the moment, and that's from Dave Filoni. So, Han doesn't have the Force. Dave Filoni says everyone has the Force, and it's being in the moment, and that's how the Force works. So, I don't know. Be mad at the Force. Next reason, Rey becomes a Jedi and trains Finn, but then she dies. This isn't something I really want to see, but Britt says that just like Obi-Wan and Darth Vader face each other down in A New Hope, Rey could face off with Kylo Ren and lose, and her death would leave Finn alone as the Last Jedi, and it would propel him to seek out Luke to be trained so that he can get revenge. Jedi don't seek revenge. It's more he could avenge Rey's death and defeat Kylo in the First Order. Like I said, I can't read the article because there are things I don't agree with, and I'd make this video go an hour. We're already at 12 minutes. All right, next reason, I need to talk faster and be shorter. Okay, so Finn is naturally heroic and brave. I kind of feel like I've touched on this, that Finn is intrinsically good. If you read Before the Awakening or Finn's story, Finn has this thing about when he's doing simulations, he cannot fire on civilians. That's why he froze. He didn't really freeze on Tuono Village. He flat out rejected. Finn froze. He froze in battle. What happened? He's having a conflict with the Force or something. No, he said, I'm not going to do this. I can't be a part of this. He never could be a part of that. He would not kill civilians. Captain Phasma said, you got to do this. His first mission, his fire team goes to these mines. They execute the miners in cold blood, and Finn would not do it, right? And it was the Tuono Village was like, this is your last test. If you don't pass this, I don't know what's going to happen to you. Captain Phasma covered for him because that's insubordination, failure to follow an order, right? Dereliction of duty. But Finn decided he's going to go his own way. He's following his own path. And that feeds into the next reason, that Finn allied with the light side of the Force. The First Order is born of the dark side. Look at what happened in Aftermath. We don't know exactly how the First Order came to be, the full details, but they were born out of the dark side of the Force. They're led by the Supreme Leader, who is a dark side Force user. The Enforcer, Kylo Ren, is in the same position that Darth Vader held within the Galactic Empire. And they're more cunning. They even have weaponized kyber crystals, right? So they turn the Force into a weapon, and Finn turns against all of that, even though he's been in training from birth. He turns on all of that, and then when they meet Maz Kanata, the first thing she does is notice Finn. She's talking about, we've got to take the fight. There's always been a fight. It was the Sith and then the Empire, and now it's the First Order. We've always got to fight the dark side. And she's looking at Rey and Finn like it's you guys' turn. And we know that Rey is a child of the Force. And when I say child of the Force, I don't mean she's some magic Jesus baby or Anakin baby born by the will of the midichlorians. Children of the Force means anyone born Force sensitive. I see people using that statement wrong in the comments all the time. One of my Facebook friends, he uses it wrong and I'm like, no, dude, like, no, he thought Jyn Erso was a child of the Force and I'm like, no, dude. One, she's not Force sensitive, but no, she has parents. They had sex and she was born. And it was good. So anyway, what I'm saying is that, Maz, this guy, Britt is implying that Maz sensed the light side of the Force in Finn. And she said he looks like a man who wants to run. I think Maz was doing that whole Zen master thing. You tell a student what they need to hear to help them awaken. She told Finn he needed to run. Finn ran. He gets outside. He sees that the First Order has destroyed the New Republic. Did he sense the cries of a million people all go silent at once? Billions? We don't know right now. We don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Somebody said that the sound director said that flat out said that Finn was hearing the screams from the castle, but I don't believe things that random people say in comments on videos, because people lie. So if you're the person that commented that, if you can give me a link to that, I will completely acknowledge you, and I will, go back and do a redaction of my video on that. But I'm just gonna say I don't believe you right now. Sorry, but not sorry. Next reason, Kylo Ren sensed the Force in Finn. Now, the Force flows around everybody, and what Chirrut Imwe said was the dark side of the Force it basically hovers. I know these weren't his exact words, but basically it sticks to someone's aura when they're about to kill. So whether Finn is Force sensitive or not, Kylo Ren would have been able to sense what's going on with the Force around him. Now, what Britt says and what I think is that Kylo Ren was looking at Finn and seeing the turmoil going on around him. The fact that Finn is choosing the light, the First Order is birthed of the dark, and he's having a conflict because this is where my heart is, but this is where my duty lies, right? My duty tells me that I need to follow the dark side. My heart and my mind tell me I need to follow the light. And Kylo Ren is dealing with the same struggle. He has the same inner turmoil. And he's looking at this stormtrooper, the stormtrooper there on Jakku. And he's like, this dude is the same as me. He's got the same struggle. I'm not alone in this. But, they both kind of acknowledge each other, but they don't acknowledge each other. Because Finn doesn't want this dude looking at him like, man, I'm afraid of this guy. I don't know. He's irrational. He's got a tantrum. He just cut this guy's head off. He might do the same thing to me. So there's the question there. Now, if Finn does carry a strong connection to the Force, then it could be Kylo Ren sensing this guy is strong in the Force, but I don't want to say anything because he seems to be drawn to the light side, and that's the last problem we need. Additionally, think about if you've got foot soldiers and they're Force sensitive, which means they have all of those natural talents. You just don't teach them how to use the Force. People, well, why didn't he become a Knight of Ren? How come he didn't go to Snoke? The First Order's not set up that way. From the beginning, the whole reason Brendel Hux wanted to recruit people as children is he said we need to draw on what the Jedi do. The First Order Stormtrooper program was supposed to have all the advantages that the Jedi had and the clone troopers, but none of the faults. Where if you've got clones and they haven't had a measles shot, right? They can't get a MMR vaccine, right? Mumps, measles, rubella. And somebody comes up with a biological weapon, an MMR bomb, you just wiped out all of the clone troopers because they're genetically all the same. So that's why I talked about that in a video from last summer. If you were one of the new people that jumped on in December, go check that video out. Okay, next reason, Finn turned against the stormtroopers despite being one. I've already kind of touched on that, you know, I just got through talking about Brendel Hux and his stormtrooper training program, the protocol, right? But these kids were taught to be bloodthirsty killers from day one. We saw it in the aftermath in Empire's End, that those children were ruthless, right? They were ruthless, feral, savage. And Finn rejected all of this. They were born out of the dark side. Finn turned against the dark side and turned to the light. So Finn's strong moral compass, the fact that he literally rejected the dark side, could be that the Force is working through him. Next reason, we're almost through this list. Rey is too obvious. They need a twist. Okay, so you know, you guys have always said that there has to be a twist, and it's going to be that Luke is Rey's father. And it's like, well, that's not really a twist, because everybody thinks that already. You know, Vader being Luke, no, Luke, I am your father. You didn't see that one coming. Leia and Luke being siblings, you definitely didn't see that one coming, because if you've been here long enough, then you know that Leia and Luke were never supposed to be siblings. There was that the Splinter in the Mind's Eye book or something where Luke and Leia have like the romance. That was going to be the sequel to A New Hope, where they go and search for the Kyber crystal or something, right? So that was a twist that was added when George Lucas decided, I'm not going to do any more movies after this. I'm tapped out. I'm done. Anakin being Darth Vader was a twist, because Anakin at first was not going to be Darth Vader. Anakin was going to be Luke's father. Vader was going to be the person who killed Anakin, right? So when Obi-Wan says from a certain point of view, that was it was from a certain point of view from George Lucas's original idea, until things got changed as he and his group, his team of people, Lawrence Kasdan, and there was a woman involved working on Empire Strikes Back, that changed everything from what George Lucas originally was going to do, right? Anakin was going to appear to Luke in Empire Strikes Back and knight him as Jedi Knight into the Jedi Order. So the twist of Luke being Rey's father, that's not really a twist. The twist here would be that Finn is actually the Last Jedi. Rey is training to be the Jedi that we see, but she doesn't go on to become a Jedi, and then it turns out to actually be Finn. That would be a twist. I don't think some people would see that coming. Next reason, we're almost through this list. Finn is the one who was awakened by the Force and not Rey. And my previous version of this video, which is still running longer than I wanted it to, I talked about it here too, that Finn is the catalyst for the awakening in the Force. Oh, it's almost time to meditate, so I got to wrap this up. Finn is the catalyst for everything that happens in The Force Awakens. He has his awakening when Slip falls, when Poe Dameron kills Slip. Finn does all these things. He frees Poe. He finds Rey, who has BB-8. Check out the Forces of Destiny cartoon that I posted yesterday on YouTube, and you can see like the adventure of what Rey and BB-8 did after, you know, things fade after they first meet in The Force Awakens. But anyway, back to Finn. He finds Rey and BB-8. They get on the Millennium Falcon. Finn learns how to use the turrets. He fires a 1 in a million shot to destroy that TIE fighter. They run into Han Solo. They get to Takodana. Rey gets captured. Finn devises this plan to go and free Rey, which forces Rey to finally accept the lightsaber, accept her mission to go and deliver the lightsaber to Luke Skywalker and bring him back into the fight, bring him back into the known galaxy and the events that are going on, possibly to bring him out of a possible bearish vow if he's taken one. All of that happens because of what Finn does. Finn pushes the story forward. Without Finn, you don't have anything. Rey doesn't have her Force back vision. Nothing, right? So it's possible that Finn has an awakening. He doesn't know anything about the Force, but that's what propels the story forward. Number one reason is Maz Kanata hands Finn the lightsaber in The Force Awakens. Is it so that Finn can simply deliver that lightsaber to Rey? Possible, but Maz Kanata could have left Takodana, which she was supposed to do originally. We saw that in an early trailer, and she handed the lightsaber over to Leia, and then she later tells Leia the lightsaber should be with Finn because he's going to Star Killer Base to find Rey to bring her back. Finn has his lightsaber the entire time, and Maz feels like it should be with him. When you read the novel, and it was also an earlier cut, when Maz presents the lightsaber at first to Finn and Rey rejected the lightsaber. This was an earlier version of the Force Back vision that I talked about in the video about Finn's lightsaber scenes cut. Finn naturally wanted the lightsaber. Even in what we have, when you read the novel, when Finn took the lightsaber into his hands, when Maz gives it to him, he liked the way it felt. He somehow, on some level, he is bonded with this lightsaber, right? He naturally feels drawn to it. I don't know why that is, because Finn wouldn't know anything about being called by kyber crystals or anything else. And I said, well, Ezra claimed that he was drawn to Kanan's lightsaber. Was it the holocron calling to him? We don't know. That we have to go by with what Ezra said until somebody comes by later to clear things up that was behind the scenes, right? So with that, we'll just have to wonder, is Finn Force sensitive? Will he become a Jedi? Is he the last Jedi? But can you think of any other scenes besides the one where we think that Finn heard the cries when the New Republic was destroyed that lend any credibility to the fact that Finn could be the last Jedi, or that he's at all Force sensitive? And what do you think is going to happen in Star Wars The Last Jedi? So let me know your thoughts down below, and I'll be checking back to see what you all have to say. If you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and click on that subscribe button so that you can take your first steps towards becoming an urban acolyte. Commit yourself to embarking on the journey to become the hero of your own story and become a force for change in your community. Continue to support the channel. I'm going to be banging out a lot of videos in the month of July. Basically anything I come across that even looks remotely interesting, I'm going to talk about it on video. I don't care if it's 3 minutes or 30 minutes. I'm going to talk about it this month. So lots of great Star Wars content to look forward to. I hope you guys will check all of it out and continue to have interesting discussions down in the comment section. But anyway, that's all I got for this one. I got to meditate and start practicing some Kung Fu. So thanks for watching. Y'all keep on breathing, and may the force of others be with you always.